Good morning. You join me in the Lake District in a lay-by. But this isn't today's starting point, and I'll explain why in just a minute. But I think for now, because I've just got up, it's time to have my coffee, my breakfast, and then we'll head off to where today will begin. Nice.
So the reason I wildcamped last night was because I live about 3 hours away from Thirlmere, and it just made sense to be close to where my walk started today. Being close to where my walk started without having to drive for hours beforehand can, in my experience, be the difference between an enjoyable walk and a not so enjoyable walk.
Now, I was going to walk up Helvellyn, but the weather's not looking very favourable later. Well, according to the weatherman anyway. Whether he's right or wrong or not, I don't know. But I don't want to get up there and there'll be no views because there's no point. So instead, I've decided to walk around Thirlmere. It's about 10 miles and fingers crossed, there'll be some nice photography opportunities too. Lovely.
So with that, I headed on my merry way with zero idea of how stunning this walk was actually going to be. I thought that walking around the lake would be flat, uninspiring and boring. How wrong was I?
I do like getting up early and going on walks. I were up for about 5:30 because when I wild camp, you know what I mean, there's nothing really to do, no fire pits, no beer. So I generally tend to sort of get tucked up in bed and all nice and cosy, and then within 10 minutes I'm fast asleep. And I got to my park up last night at about 8:30 and yeah, I think by 9 I was fast asleep.
With every corner taken and every tree passed, the views just got better. I think made better by the weather, but I do believe this walk would be just as stunning on a not so nice day too.
I'm on another walk and it's not raining.
I spent most of the morning with my camera out, taking photographs of the scenery, some of which I'll show you later on in the video, and don't forget to stay tuned for the campsite tour and Colin answers your questions later on. And, of course, if you're yet to subscribe, then please subscribe, it really helps. Thank you, see you, bye.
Well, that beach was nice. Stopped on there for a bit, watched the sun come over the mountains. I were expecting a bit more from it for photography, but I managed to get a couple of snaps. There's a couple of nice ones. I'll pop them up a little bit later on. But yeah, this is lovely. I've passed a few car parks on my way around, so you don't have to do the full circular. You can just pull up at a car park at any point pretty much on this walk. But that car park that I've just passed had a toilet, and when you've wild camped, you'll understand why I needed that toilet. Well, I knew when we got to this part of the walk that I'd look across there and see the van and think, oh, I could just, if I got a boat, I could go back. Oh, so tantalisingly close, yet so far. So we are just coming past Deergarth Howe Island. Probably pronounced it wrong, I'm sure the internet will correct me. And that's about all I know about it, because that's all it says on the map. So we're just passing another island on Thirlmere called Hawes Howe Island. Hawes Island? Hawes Island? How do you get on there? Asking for a friend? So you can't walk this path unless you've got both of your arms. It says on this sign, so yeah, make sure you check that.
So if you want to do the same walk as I have in this video and you want to stay at the same campsite, I'll pop a link in the description below to both of them. It would also be amazing to hear if any of you guys have stayed at the same places I have because of the videos I make. I never really get to find out unless the campsite gets in touch afterwards.
So I've just passed a bit that I thought, do you know what, I could cut this corner off and walk across what looks like a grassy field. Anyway, don't do it. I just tried and it's not a grassy field, it's basically marsh. So I got about 30 yards in and we're like, nah, if it's like this here, it's going to be up to my knees when I get to the middle or even worse. So sometimes a shortcut is not a shortcut.
I felt super weirded out by this beardy sheep, ram, horny, fluffy goat thing. It just sat there and didn't stop staring at me.
Right, so I'm pretty much around the lake and I'm heading back up the other side of the lake now and there's some climbing to do. This is the worst bit of the walk, energy-wise. Right at the very end. Oh, not looking forward to it. Are we at Jurassic Park or something? Why is the gate so massive? Na, 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 na. Why is it so massive? Is it to not let, I don't know, Quiffmeisters in or something? I don't know. I don't know what, oh, it's stuck. Better close gate though, get it locked just in case those massive freaking animals get out. So this ascent is part 1 of 2. And this one's the small one. Oh, well, rewards come to those who work hard. Oh, look at that. Oh. I hate it when I can see where I'm going. Oh, well, that's the first ascent done with about 9 miles in the legs. A nice flat recovery bit. And then hopefully I can take a diversion, not have to go up again. The annoying thing is, the car's down at the road. Whatever. Also, I think I've figured out why these fences and gates are so high. I think it's to stop deer from jumping over them. I'm 100% positive. Correct me in the comment section below. But this looks like it's something to control or manage the deer population to make sure they stay within a certain area. I may have been really clever with that, or just completely made it up. So I've got to go all the way downhill to go back uphill. You're probably saying, Cole, stop moaning. Stop moaning, I've got work tomorrow and you're camping.
After climbing up a nonsensical stile that served no purpose whatsoever, I carried on my merry way, happy in the knowledge that we'd soon be back at the van and ready to head off to today's campsite.
Well, I can say with some certainty, looking at this track and the lack of fencing or signage that says you can't come down it, that you're probably best coming to the left-hand side of the path rather than going up that fell and over. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. There's still a bit of climbing to do. There's a path just over there, probably see it in distance. There's still that to do, but I think that's going to be way better than smashing it up that fell just to come back down again to the car. So, with that in mind, I'm going to get this done. I shall see you back at the van. Nice. Oh, well, that was a walk and a half. And I had to do it because in my head, after I bailed out of that walk in Thirlmere, I just thought to myself, I can't leave that as my last walk that I did. So yeah, 10 miles, in fact, just over 10 miles in total, probably more, having done the backwards and forwards YouTube thing. After all that awesome exercise, it's now time to drive to the campsite, which is literally just up the road. So I can't wait for you to see that. Right, oh, need my keys.
I thought I'd film the entire journey from the car park to the campsite. It was literally that close. You could easily still do the Thirlmere and tons of other walks directly from the campsite too.
I don't know where it is with me getting to campsites and there being nobody about at all. But yeah, there's no one around, so I've just had a drive around, ended up in the B&B section accidentally, and then thought to myself, this has got to be the way. And I've just come up here, there's all electric hookups and stuff. I'm on electric tonight. I've had a bit of a nosy around. I spoke to somebody, but it was just an electrician.
2 hours later.
I found the owner eventually. She just nipped out, so no problems there. And she gave me a little quick tour of the campsite, which is ace. And then one thing to mention, if you do book this campsite, certainly on Pitch Up, I think I paid £4 to book it, and then you pay the rest when you get here in cash. So I'm just going to nip down now and go pay the rest in cash. So do bear that in mind. And I'm on electric hookup. Nice. Heater. Oh, I didn't bring my heater. Oh, I did. Oh, geez. Do you know when you start panicking and you think to yourself, you've forgotten something? I have got the diesel heater as a backup, but I'm a Yorkshireman. I don't want to use my own diesel, you know what I'm saying?
This is my obligatory setup camp video, so you know that I am camping and not staying in a hotel. Yeah, it's camping. Camping, not in a hotel. Outdoor. With nature.
So that's me all set up and ready to chill with a beer and my fire pit and answer some of your questions. However, because I know that tomorrow's campsite, next week's video for you, doesn't have showers, I think I'm going to go utilise the showers here, because after walking 10 miles, don't know if I've mentioned it, after walking 10 miles, I sweated a lot and I feel like I need to freshen up. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right, and once I've had a shower, I'll let you know what they're like. Right. Shower time, say bye. I'll tell you what, while I'm having a shower, I'll show you the photographs I took today. Nice, enjoy.
I took so many pictures on this walk, but these are my favourite shots from the day. Photography is completely subjective, so it would be nice to find out which one is your favourite. Mine is the last one in the set, a simple, clean and free of distraction shot.
Well, that's me back from the shower and I feel A-OK. The shower comes on pretty much as soon as you put your quid in, so make sure you're already undressed before you get in the shower. There's no temperature control either, so the temperature that it is that temperature, which is warm. It's not lukewarm like it was at a campsite not so long back that I stayed at. They're warm. I like a super hot shower, but I guess, you know, they're working to a budget or whatever. But anyway, yeah, quid and 5 minutes and it was fine. I feel all fresh and lovely. I feel like do you know when you've been out on a lovely walk and you get back and you feel kind of outdoored? That's what I feel like. I feel outdoored.
Outdoor. With nature.
Is it beer o'clock yet? Time is it? 3 o'clock? It's not beer o'clock yet, is it? Or is it? I reckon, because I've done a 10-mile walk today, I don't know if I've mentioned it, I'll probably go to bed a lot earlier, or I'll be knackered a lot earlier. So I think if I just move my evening further back, so start drinking now, make dinner in an hour, get the fire pit on, Colin answers your questions, might still be light enough for Colin answers your questions then. It's dark at 5, isn't it? Because clocks have gone back or forward, or back or forward. I don't know which way they've gone. Either way, it's darker earlier. Oh, don't know. Bit of a ramble, that one, it called. There's some people just driving on site now, which means I don't have it to myself. Which also means Colin answers your question is going to be really quiet because I'll be really embarrassed. The fire pit is lit. That means only one thing. It's now time for Colin answers your questions. And the first question is, how have you found it without having a sink and a hob in your van for a while now? Do you know what? I've not missed it at all. In fact, now I've got the Delta 2 EcoFlow and the electric kettle, I boil all of my hot water with that. If I don't want to use that or my power's running low, I've got the jet boil. It's like a cheaper version called a fast boil. I use that, no problems at all. And most of my cooking I either do outside or on that little mini table that I've got in there on the hob. So I've not missed it at all. In fact, we only ever used it to boil kettles for videos back in the day, and we never used the sink at all. It was literally just stuff that was for washing up would just get shoved in there and rattle around. It was basically just a glorified cupboard with a sink that we never wanted to use because we didn't trust the water that came out of the bucket that was underneath. And the next question is, how long can you do off-grid camping for? That is the easiest question to answer that I've ever been asked, and the answer is indefinitely. Because I've got 200 watts of solar on the roof that powers the EcoFlow Delta, that always keeps it charged up. And because I've got my split charger charging my lithium battery while I'm driving, that keeps it charged up. So between campsites, that's charging up. If I'm staying in a campsite for a length of time, what I can do is use the Delta 2, the EcoFlow, to charge my lithium battery, which then in turn is being charged by the solar. Providing you've got sun, obviously. It does go a little bit slower when it's cloudy. It's better in summer than it is in winter. For argument's sake today, I think I run my battery down to about 70%, and it's taken pretty much all day in winter sun, which is quite low, to charge it back up to 99% or 100%. So yeah, indefinitely, I could be completely off grid. I just like to do on-grid stuff. So I've got like a fan heater and I'm not using my diesel heater and using my fuel because I'm a tight Yorkshireman, do you know what I mean? And the final question is, what suspension do you have on your van? Do you know what? I'm loving these easy questions to answer. It's just the stock suspension from when it came out of the factory. I've not had it upgraded. I did try and have the suspension upgraded because I got given an old suspension set from a friend of mine that had his van lowered, and he wanted to go back to in fact he wanted to raise it a little bit, so he got a different suspension kit and he just gave me his, so I'm like, happy days. So I took it to the garage, they fit the rear ones, looked mint, fit the front ones, and we're like, they don't fit. I think they were for like a T32 rather than a T28, which is the van that I've got. I'll not go into that detail, but yeah, it was the wrong fitting or something or other. Anyway, so I gave those away because obviously you pass on the niceness. So I gave those away to somebody who I knew it would fit their van, and they were looking at having their van lowered. And now it's only lowered because of all of the stuff from Amazon that's in the back. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but there's someone else arriving now and they're parked, so then they're looking right at me. So that's the impromptu end of Colin answers your questions. And now it's time for your campsite tour. I shall see you guys on the next adventure, wherever that may be. I know where I'm going. It's going tomorrow, but you'll find out next week. See you, bye.
Sykes Farm Campsite in Thirlmere is a dog and family friendly campsite that's open all year round. There's no mobile reception and no Wi-Fi on site, so you're truly off grid here. It's a small site on a working farm with no on-site shop, but the views are amazing. With it being a farm, they do sell fresh eggs and some lovely looking homemade jams for your toast in the morning. You could certainly walk around Thirlmere like I did today directly from the site, or if you're feeling a little more ambitious, you could walk to Helvellyn from the campsite too. There is one toilet and one shower cubicle, both of which are unisex, and the shower is £1 for 5 minutes. More than enough to scrub yourself clean. There is an outdoor pot wash area, and right next to that is the waste area too. There's also an Elson point and one drinking water tap. There aren't many pitches here, probably around 5. They're not marked, but the whole area is mostly level with great views of the fells. Also, for those watching this video who have yet to purchase a camper van, there is a lovely looking B&B on site too. Fire pits are allowed as long as they're off the ground, and I was told that there is a cafe just up the road that you can walk to, should you wish. I chose to stay for one night with electric hookup, and it cost me £27. I will definitely be back here in the not too distant future.
Other suspension, that was the donkey. Why is it always the easiest questions to answer? Now, I was going to walk up Helvellyn, but the weatherman says however, the weatherman said it wasn't looking too favourable later on, and there's no point going all the way up to something like that if there's... Now, I was going to walk up Helvellyn this morning, but the weatherman says it's going to be a bit soggy. Now, I was going to walk up Helvellyn, however, the weatherman says there's... Now, I was going to walk up Helvellyn, but the weatherman says it's going to look... Now, I was going to walk up Helvellyn Coming back for the camera. Keep walking into those stupid spider webs though. Oh. What is that? There's a bit of mark on lens. Oh, has that been throughout the whole walk? What a div. What a div. Oh, can't see myself. No, I can't. That's too far away and too long. That's what she said. What's that? Big pile of frickin' sand behind me? I don't know. Right. Sleep. Right, I'm off. There's someone coming up walking the dog. I look like a div on camera. See you, bye. Get that fire pit lit and have a beer. Lovely. Right, let's go. To take the freaking bell off first.